So in my last video we looked at Newton Station, and in this video we're going to go to the first station on the other branch, which was the main line towards Newcastle, and that station is Ballygowan. Now unfortunately I haven't been able to get quite as many decent quality photos and maps and all that sort of stuff as I would like, so please forgive the quality of a few of the things I'll be using. So we're going to start at Cumber Station and we're going to work our way southwest towards Ballygowan Station itself, about 3.5 miles away, and we'll stop off at a few places along the way and show you what they look like now and what they look like then. Hope you enjoy the video.
When they first thought about extending the railway to Downpatrick in 1858, the BCDR wanted to run it from Cumber to Downpatrick in a straight line south through Lisbane, Killinchy and Killelea, but for whatever reason they went for the Ballygowan Crossgar route instead. So here we are, just running along Railway Street in Cumber again and picking up at the level crossing at the bottom of that street that I ended my Cumber video with, because that is the first part of our journey towards Ballygowan. And pretty much straight away the railway would have gone under the old Ballygowan road at this bridge. Then another bridge at Ballynichol Road. And then finally at Macroscouse Road. And this is where a young man under the influence of opium stood in front of a train in 1872 and lost his life. So now we're coming into Ballygowan, and just before you get to the old orphanage on your right, if you're coming from Cumber, you'll see at the top of the hill there's this sort of weird dead end with this wall on top, and if you go around the other side as well it still looks a bit peculiar, but I think we might find the explanation for that in a minute or two. In the mid-19th century there was a slaughterhouse here, which meant for some passengers alighting from the train the smell was less than pleasant. Now this is the old station master's house, with what was the predecessor of today's technical garage right behind it. And this is the same scene as it appears today. This bridge, which I only found out about the other day, is made of the same granite as the old orphanage, but carried the road and the railway, which ran beside each other, across the river. This is the roundabout bar, but back in the day was known as Gurley's Pub, and obviously being next to the station was a favourite haunt of a few of the engine drivers, and that was all well and good as long as they behaved themselves. But apparently on one occasion a driver called Mr. Bell took off with a bit more enthusiasm than he maybe would have liked after a few refreshments, and it was only when he got to Cumber that he looked over his shoulder and realised that he'd left his train behind. If we look at this postcard, you can see the orphanage up on the hill on the right, and I think this white single-storey building in the bottom left is the station itself. This house these days, which until recently was the village post office, sits exactly where the station building once was, and in fact its former owners say that the back of the house included part of the old railway platform, which must have been handy for dealing with the mail in the morning. This photo, taken in 1933, is looking towards Saintfield. The station only had one platform on the downside, which is going away from Belfast. And here's the scene today. As with Cumber, the goods shed is the only evidence that the station was ever here, and it's now a garage called Station Autos. So if we look at this not particularly brilliant photo of the station complex, we're now looking in the other direction back towards Cumber, and the goods shed is on the right. If you look really closely, you can see in the background what appears to be the white gates of the level crossing that we've just seen in the last photo, but also a road bridge behind that, which I think explains that funny stone-topped embankment near the orphanage. And this is the same scene as it appears today. Leaving the station and heading towards Saintfield, it doesn't take too long to find the track bed again. At Rivara Road, hidden away in the undergrowth, is this bridge where, again, the road has evidently been realigned after the railway closed. And as a final find, a bit further along the road to Saintfield, near Ballygowan, there's this rarity: two original BCDR gates in this distinctive rising sun design to give a farmer at the time access to his land. And I also assume this is where the short-lived Shepherd's Bridge halt must have been. And that's it for this episode. For the next one, we'll be travelling back towards East Belfast and Bloomfield Station. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.